Low tech, no show notes. Here we go. VSC.
Woo.
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 Good morning.
Woo.
Welcome to the most dangerous show of the week.
Good morning. I was about to say, yes, it is the VSC edition of the Sun Dragon Sideshow. Thank you very much. Hi, I'm Rebecca. I am the owner of Sun Dragon Art and Fiber. Who can say that with me now? And actually sunny. Probably gonna have some scattered storms, but hopefully not as bad as yesterday, Brevard, North Carolina.
I'm Liz. I'm the minion there.
You're making a cute little scarf. That's so cute. How long has that taken you?
Oh, this is taking me about an hour and a half.
How long did your mom think it was going to take you?
5 minutes. And I showed her last night in hopes of like, hey, it's going to take forever. And mom's like, oh, you got stuff. It's all good.
It's so cute. It's going to go so fast. Look what you already did. No offense to Liz's mom. Sorry, you know.
No. I'm.
But oh my gosh, we're embodying every person who doesn't knit or crochet themselves, thinking what happens when you knit and crochet.
I love my mommy. I love her. And I'm like, well, when you start sewing the doll clothes, it's gonna take you a while. Mom's like, I love sewing doll clothes. It's so much fun. And I'm like, uh-huh.
Does she have a little more time on her hands than we do? Maybe.
Oh,
yeah.
Besides outside stuff, I mean, when she was in her
I know.
COVID
I'm looking forward to
quarantine,
those
she was making her bunnies. So
that's true.
Yeah.
So yes, we digress. All the time, right? So yes, Liz is making her little guys. I'm working on a giant blanket that is almost too big to bring in, but I think it's not even quite 3 feet already though. And what?
So I might be working on my wedding present that's 2 years in the making for Adam, because if we're seeing him at the end of August.
I was like, why are we making this a competition? We're not.
No.
This is my paper. This is my paper from yesterday's lesson because it got wet because it rained. We didn't get soaking wet, but the mist was everywhere in our little shelter while it was pouring around us. So
the new windscreen took raindrops and turned them into spatter shots.
Well, but we would have gotten wetter without it.
Oh yeah, because the wind was blowing sideways into that. So
yeah, so helped, but not hurt, but made things interesting. Anyway, yeah. So that is the challenge of having lessons outside. But that is life right now. Like I've said it many times, this is the only time we are unmasked in the shop. And even this, some days I'm like, I really hope I'm not getting Liz sick. So far, I haven't popped hot, but you know, we digress again. So it's the VSC edition. I didn't sleep so well last night. So I think there may have been a bear or a wombat in the trees or something that my cat was prowling on the pillow next to me, watching out the window. He woke me up by licking my face.
He was trying to alert you that
there's danger outside. Danger on the roof and in the trees and on the ground, and not sure what it sounded like and couldn't see a darn thing outside. But he stayed there with his butt in my pillow and watched. So
he was protecting you.
And then when I got up, he went into stalker mode like he was going to attack me. And I'm like, really?
I spent the whole night protecting you and you ignored me.
So now I'm going to swipe at your ankles.
Yeah. Sounds obvious.
And then he lay on my lap while I did morning posts. And then luckily we have a code right now. So when I say, okay, come on, Avi, like he knows the language and the tone of my voice when it's time to get off my lap because I need to go somewhere. So he's usually not upset when he gets kicked off my lap, but that might also be because I've gotten in the routine of when he gets off my lap, he gets treats. I bribe him heavily. That is how I survive life in my house. And that is why he might be a little chunky right now. So I haven't been to the vet recently. He's due for a rabies shot in August. So then I'll find out what my treats have done to him.
I think that having more run and going up and down the stairs
Yes.
might actually balance stuff
It
out.
it might. But I also need to be playing with him more. I brought when I cleaned the other day, I found a few more little wandy things with stuff trailing off of them, and he's puzzled because he's like, "Wait, I used to do this. Do I remember how to do this? I don't know." So we'll see. All right, so let's talk about what we're doing today. So for yarn, we just got in some yarn orders, some big ones, and we're putting together kits and things. But one of the refills we got, which is one of my favorite yarns of all time, and they've discontinued a few colors, which is very sad. But one of my favorite yarns to do fun things with is Queensland Perth. So since we just got more in, we're putting it on sale this week. Woohoo, woohoo. Remember, anything we talk about and specifically put in the category online of product of the week is on sale, 15% off until we film next Wednesday. But you have to put in the code product of the week with spaces between all the words to get your 15% off. So if this is in the category, check that out first. Then you know that I've set up all the doohickeys to give you your discount. So this is the yarn that we make most of our Papillon kits out of. Most of our lovely combos. And the one that's hanging under the register, I used Rainbow Reef, but for a while now, I've been looking at the Rainbow Reef, which is this color, and saying, I feel like it's brighter than the one I did. So it's a different dye lot, but it's the one I used. So that's the one we sell people for the most part. And this is one of the colors we can no longer get, which makes us sad. But since it doesn't necessarily look exactly like the one under the register, in some ways I'm okay with that. But we're going to have to shift. So we had two rainbow ones, lighter and darker. We're going to have to shift to, if anyone wants something remotely like the one under the counter. And I think it looks close enough that I can pull it off. But I'm going to have to figure out what I'm going to say to people, because it's going to be like, this color is no longer available, but this one's really close. This is Kings Canyon. And it's a little darker. But like I said, it looks like the colors under the register. I've had difficulty for a while now saying this is the one under the register because it doesn't look the
same. The other thing, if they've never made a Papillon, is the contrast color sometimes changes a bit of the color.
So we're going to say, like, this looks like the one under the register. It's not exactly the same, but it's close as we got, because this is no longer available. And I think this is the last scheme we have.
Yeah.
I have one kit with the Papillon. Kits aren't on sale. But I have one kit with this color. We're going to have to switch to Kings Canyon. Kings Canyon is still very luscious and very vivid rainbow colors. It's going to be lovely. But I jumped ahead of things. Liz, why don't you read us some stats?
It is 80% superwash wool. It's roving gangs of sheep, but not like...
It's roving gangs of sheep that can survive the washing machine in theory.
And 20% nylon. I like it for making socks because it's not a soft wool.
It's a really slow color fade. So if you make socks, it's not going to be like thin striped socks. But yes, it's our Spin Cycle adjacent yarn, and Spin Cycle is also roving gangs of sheep, I believe. It's not merino, which is or BFL, which is some of our other slow changing fadey yarn like this. It's our Spin Cycle adjacent, because Spin Cycle comes in sport and worsted weights, and this is a fingering weight, but it's a little crunchy, I like to say, like Spin Cycle. Like, it's not the softest,
no,
but it's also not rough. It's just a little crunchy if you're used to super soft merino.
If you need socks that will last longer than merino socks,
they will hold up better than like Cascade for socks, because it's roving gangs of sheep rather than merino. Continue.
You get 437 yards per 100 grams.
Typical sport weight yardage for a wool
fingering weight. You said sport.
I haven't had enough coffee.
We'll blame
Listen
it on
to her, not me, and hope I'm not getting a migraine. I didn't sleep well last night. Did I mention? Okay, what she said.
We're gonna make sure she hydrates today too. No, your berry stuff in the...
I know, but I brought another thing in for when that's gone.
They're recommending. They're recommending a
I
US
get punchy when I get tired. Come on.
1 to 3 needle.
Are you trying to talk? What?
Maybe no.
Okay, I'm sorry.
1 to 3 US needle or a 2.25 to a 3.25 millimeter needle.
I can't do that with my fingers. I did the 1 to 3 with my fingers. I can't do the 2.25 to
Your 3 knuckles don't translate into quarters. What?
2.75.
Uh-huh.
I can't do it.
Fingers divide into thirds, but not quarters.
Oh, you're right.
And I'm the one who doesn't like math. Math.
No. You're the one who secretly relishes math, but
I
not
don't
on the
secretly
surface.
relish it.
You do a lot more of it than you admit.
I do a lot more. That doesn't mean I like it anymore.
Okay, we're squirreling.
They have a crochet gauge on this.
Oh, good. Go ahead. Can I make letters? G. It's not a G. It's gonna be smaller.
It's not a G. It's a B to an E, or a 2.25 to a 3.5 millimeter.
That's my B. Oh, but this is reverse image. What I'm seeing, I think I have to do this for you guys to see a B.
Rebecca is slap happy this morning.
This is how I'm gonna make it through the day because I forgot to bring in soda, so I have 1 soda in the fridge for lunch.
I have extra Cokes.
I know.
And you don't like Coke, but if
I
you
will
need
stomach
a
it
fizzy, we got it.
What was after the B?
An E?
There's an E. Because it's gonna be flipped. What we see is gonna yeah, anyway. I'm having fun because the VSC I feel like is sometimes kind of boring because we're just talking about like stuff we sell.
It kind of really is. But there's a reason for that.
B to an E, that's a good range because I'm used to teeny tiny needles. So
one of the comments yesterday was I should crochet a bunny sweater.
I saw that from is it George?
Yes.
Hi George. You're a new fan and we're happy to have you. George also said something about live streaming because someone else said something about live streaming. I think someone else's video wasn't working. We don't live stream. I filmed this on Zoom. Like you can know all my secrets now. We film on Zoom and then I do edit, like I don't edit much. I shave off like the ends and export and an iMovie and upload. I'm scared of live streaming, so we're not doing that. So don't worry about missing a live stream you didn't. But yes, what do you think of George's? You should crochet the Zimmerman sweater for the bunnies.
I was thinking about crocheting a little sweater, but at the same time that I was typing, ooh, I should do that, I was like, but the hook size that I would have to use.
Well, see, I would
have to do a B.
This is the other thing I would. This is the other thing I was thinking about the scarf is like, yes, teeny tiny needles and yarn and things, but what if you did it with like a worsted or bulky and it was like 2 stitches wide? And then you'd be done in 5 minutes. And the bunny would be like, oh crap, a really big scarf
it would look like the picture of
Lenny
Kravitz with the giant
but it's a fashion statement.
Yeah, I don't think it's mom's vision.
Oh,
she wants,
because that's the thing with crochet. You can make a really chunky sweater.
The bunnies she's making are these Danish bunnies or whatever. It's a Danish pattern. And
are you saying Danes don't like bulky?
No, I'm saying she has a particular vision with the cute little,
How many
don't
times,
do Fair Isle unless it's Christmas.
How many times can we squirrel today? This is fun. I'm having a good time.
I've read all the stats, so we can go through the colors now.
But what are we retailing it for?
Oh, we're retailing it for $16.50 a ball.
Yes, prices on everything are going up. So the last time this was on this show, or 2 times ago, it was probably more like $14 or something. Prices on everything are going up. But you can save 15% this week with the code product of the week. And that's gonna be like almost $2, I want to say. Like, or close to $2 on the price. So hey, that's pretty cool. How I do that, here's how my math works on the 15% off. I take 10%
and
then half of that, and I add them together. And my brain goes, I am done for the day. But that's, 16 is $1.60, and then half of that, actually it might be over $2 because that's 80 cents. And that Get out your calculators, people. Save some money. Okay.
So I have this wonderful app on my phone.
Oh, I want to get that too. What?
I have this wonderful app on my phone.
What, the calculator?
Yes.
Does it even count as an app? It just comes with the phone. I guess because
Well,
it's still
it's
square.
the
Yeah. That's my calculator is my phone. Absolutely.
yeah. This is Alice Springs. It's my favorite colorway. Although it's not my favorite colorway knit. It's my favorite colorway crocheted, and Rebecca is bringing the crocheted version of it. It is teals, and there's some slight yellows and reds.
This is the Fall River crocheted in Alice Springs. And our rep who at the time had never seen it look like this because it's kind of dark and broody when you knit with it. And it's almost like vintage Christmas type of stuff because the teals and the dark reds.
Yep.
But it is very gorgeous crocheted, like in a super lacy pattern. This is Alice Springs. It's kind of muted, but there's little pops of color. And this again, Fall River. Is this Elena Fedotova? Maybe?
No, it's
a Russian designer and
Katya
Novakova. Okay. And I'll put this here and be like, you see, just a little bit. So that one's really fun. Like a skein and a half. So 2 skeins of Queensland Perth will make this.
A skein and a half is what the pattern, but it's an easy repeat. You can finish out the whole skein.
You can make it bigger. Liz has. So that's Alice Springs. It's fun. Let's do some of our other like neutrally ones. This I had visions of doing this with like a navy as the color work in a fingering weight sweater.
Do we know which of these colors are discontinued?
The only ones that are discontinued of what we have in stock, Rainbow Reef and Great Barrier Reef. Apparently the reefs are going extinct, just like in real life. So the Great Barrier Reef, I was starting a sample with this. Now I have to decide if I even want to keep going.
That's why it was discontinued.
That's why. Although the other one I'm using 2 colors in it. The other one's not discontinued. It's at home, or I'd show it off today. Great Barrier Reef has pinks and oranges. It's rainbowy, but it's very much like
it's like a sherbet.
Yes, it's hot and like it's got purples, but they're like lavendery gray purples. It's much more on the warmer hot. It's got yellows. A lot of these have yellows and other things in them. So again, the reefs are ones we cannot get more of. So if you want the Great Barrier Reef, grab it now. I have to double check that I took mine out of inventory. We've been having some inventory glitches lately. Rainbow Reef, the rainbowiest, bright rainbow is gone as well. Okay. One of the other neutrals, excuse me, this one is Gold Coast. I don't think this one is discontinued. But again, I didn't check really carefully, so I'll look. But this one, it's not a huge seller for us, but it's really nice if you wanted tans and taupes. And then it's got some, like, it's not steely blue and lavender and not a dark purple. It's kind of a grape purple in it. It like I had visions of making a sweater out of this. I want to double check to see if it's discontinued though before I do something like that eventually. So
this one is Lake Gardner. In the ball, it looks all grays and creams, and there's a slight bit of pink that you can see in the ball, but it doesn't look as stunning in the ball as it does knit up.
It's really pretty. This is my shimmering pearl shawl with it, and there are really light pinks and really light like mint greens in it and grays.
It looks like a pearl.
It's really pretty. Yeah. One skein shawls with this are really lovely. Like again, it's a little crunchy, but it's not rough. You know, like it's not as soft as merino, but it's still squishy and soft. And I love this. Was really fun to make, the shimmering pearl. So.
And the color comes out looking like a pearl. Are you done with colors you can throw in my basket?
What? Oh, I was gonna look this one up to see if it's discontinued. The other fun neutral we brought in, which we were out of stock because it was very popular, or you just bought a ton of it, but
No, I
still
only bought
popular.
3 or 4.
Fraser Island is like dusky teals and grays, and
Browns.
yeah, but it's a taupey brown.
Yeah.
It's not like a brown.
No, but it's still,
chocolate brown, but
it goes with the dusty teals.
it's really nice if you wanted more of a blue neutral. That one's really nice. So
I have Tasmanian Bay. It is like raspberries and green teals. Well, teals leaning closer to green than blue. And there's some tawny browns.
That's Tasmanian Bay.
Yep.
Yeah, that one is the one I believe I did my Alaska hat with. Like I had gold for the trees, and this is the closest we had to like an aurora borealis. It isn't an aurora borealis, but it's got like the greens and the purples are the closest we had to doing a color work hat. That was the background of the color work hat. Okay, the colors that are discontinued: 103, 105, 110, 111, 112, 114, 117, and 122. This is 114. Gold Coast is discontinued. But I hadn't reordered it recently. I wasn't thinking about it. So the brown one, discontinued. So 110 is Rainbow Reef.
Is 127 on there?
No.
Okay.
122, I believe, is the Great Barrier Reef. So 3 of the colors we carry have been discontinued.
Yeah.
I ordered like a pack of everything we do carry that I could still get when I saw those discontinued, because I was afeared that it was gone for good, the whole line of it, but they have assured me that's not the case, at least for now. So yes. Good.
I have Bruni Island. It's greens, all different shades of greens, from a tealy green to a yellowy green.
And yeah, there's a little more yellow in there than
brown.
the other green that we have, which might be discontinued.
It's almost the same brown as in Fraser Island. It's that tawny, taupey brown.
I like that it's got some brighter yellows in it though, than the other green. Let's talk about the other green, because what color number is that?
This color number is 121, Swan Hill.
That hasn't been discontinued. That's so weird that we have 2 greens now, but we don't have 2 rainbows. And anyway, Swan Hill is just greens. It's
all like everything from a light green all the way to a dark.
It doesn't have like the teals and the brighter yellows that the other one has, the Bernie Island has. Yeah. So it's more gonna waffle through greens.
Yeah.
So this one that I consider on the more neutral side. And then we'll get to the really, really popular rainbow ones. This one is Royal Botanic Gardens, and it has pinks and greens and some creamy grays.
It looks like a botanical garden in bloom.
I almost made my most recent start of a Papillon out of this one, because I wanted to do a more neutral main color with a brighter pop. And we have this with a nice like cedar green as a Papillon kit. But what I did use instead
is Bay of Fires,
and which is interesting because it sounds like a really intense color, but it's actually a pretty roving neutral.
It's like orange. A pale orange sherbet mixed with grays, and
there it is.
Yeah,
I have
it's very pale. Although in yours, it looks more fiery with the purple.
It looks more fiery, but it's still not like as fiery as I think it gets is what's in here.
Yeah.
It's not like my Monarch Butterfly Papillon, but this is what the Bay of Fires does with the Dahlia purple, right? And it's fun when the grays and the oranges almost fall into the sections like it was designed that way. It's a happy accident right now. That's what I love about the Perth and the Papillon. It's a happy accident when it happens. So our 2 most popular Papillon colors, though, I gotta say, after the Rainbow Reef, which we can't get anymore, and that's 118, that is not on the list. Good, because oh my gosh, like this is gonna be our replacement for the Rainbow Reef. It is Kings Canyon. It is more intense like darker rainbow colors, but it's got the oranges and the yellows and the teals and the purples. There isn't as much red in Kings Canyon,
but there's enough.
There's enough. It's more of the raspberry color rather than red in Kings Canyon. And I'm looking over it. I guess my Rainbow Reef had more of a red. So that's going to be the shift. When people like my Papillon and want to make something like it, I'm going to be like, okay, this one doesn't have, that's what I'm probably going to like. It's got orange, it's got yellow, and it's got the blue, and it's got the greens and stuff and the teals. It has raspberry rather than red, like deep raspberry. So, but the other one that's been super popular,
Wineglass Bay.
Wineglass Bay. And Wineglass Bay has like the raspberry red to the purple to blue, and it's got some yellows in it too. But this is like orangey yellows, and that's got brighter yellows.
It's almost like this is the sherbet version of that.
Yeah, they're like there's greens and yellows, and it's more jewel toned. And we have people coming in who want the jewel tones, but they don't want the yellows. And at this point, if we have, I think I got more of the Tasmanian Bay. If they want jewel tones and they don't want as much yellow, this only has a little, and it's more of a brown yellow. But it's almost impossible to get like a rainbow or jewel tone without some yellow in it. They've thrown a little bit into everything. So long story long, that's the Perth. Buy it while you can, because who knows what colors are going next. So
not that you're pessimistic or anything.
They are always discontinuing my good stuff. So,
I know.
And then the Notion, so here's a fun thing. There's a lot of new products coming out from ChiaoGoo in the fall, and we're not bringing all of them in. There's like a new interchangeable set with like ebony and steel tips, and I'm not a fan of the combination of materials in a tip for an interchangeable needle. And that's one of the reasons I'm probably not bringing this kit in. And also the other one is it's going to be at least $300 to sell to you. And what makes it worth that price on some level is it's outfitted with more stuff than most ChiaoGoo kits. Like it's going to come with scissors and tape measure and all these extra things. But I'm not sure if I'm sold on the tips yet. And I don't know how many of y'all out there want to pay $300 for an interchangeable kit. Because right now, their regular steel kits with the red cables cost over $200. And that's a chunk of change. If anyone's like, no, I really want this, I can order one for you. Let me know. They won't come out till the fall, though. But what is already available are these new swivel cables that work with all of their products. And so I wanted to show them to you today. It's the first time I've taken them out of the package. Woo! So this is the short 8-inch. If you have 4-inch tips, this will make you a do you want to get the long one?
I want to get the long one because
that will make it 16-inch total. You would want to make hats. You have to have 4-inch tips. So again, these are just the cables to go with the tips, but they are swivel. So the red cables that we have in stock right now have a fixed metal edge that's the longest. So shortest to longest. They have a fixed metal edge that will screw into the tip. They are still the steel cable that ChiaoGoo is known for that has no memory on it when it comes out of the package. Like this, like no memory. It's not trying to kink up from all the spirals of being in the package. But there is, if I hold this in place, I can still move the edge. The swivel is really fun because that means like as you do magic loop, as you do other things, if the cable wants to kink, which it shouldn't because it's memory free, it will swivel on the axis here where it's connected to the tip and rotate and be less kinky. So there's no kinkiness here at Sun Dragon, but not from our cables at least. So, but it was a fun, like I'm like, ooh, I'm gonna bring these in.
I just noticed something.
Yes.
And this only affects like super, super thin yarn. I don't think it'll affect.
You think it's gonna get caught on the?
Well, I know that with my ethereal weight yarn, it, the join on the red lace ones that it doesn't feel like there's a join with the ethereal. it nestles perfectly in a joint.
Oh.
So like this, a little lace or something might.
Well, any swivel, yeah. Anytime there's a
The swivel is beautiful.
The swivel is beautiful, but know that your yarn, really delicate yarn, you might have to work over that or be cautious with that.
It's a fairly smooth, but if the yarn is really tiny, it might Oh,
and it says occasionally wipe down the cable with rubbing alcohol for best performance. Because cable will kink if compromised. It says caution on there. That's the downside of the steel cable in here, is if you bend it too tight, it may keep that bend, but it doesn't have the spiral of plastic coming out of the package. That's why we love that.
Memory is horrible.
And ChiaoGoo doesn't have
don't have them.
And the swivel.
Oh, they can't even see the cord. Like,
no, because it's silver this time. It's like,
it's so tiny.
So okay, so these come in many, many sizes, and one of the ways ChiaoGoo has made their interchangeable sets go smaller and larger than most interchangeable sets. Many of them start at like a 4 and go to an 11. And these guys started at 2, like the sets, which are not on sale this week, because we're out of stock of half of them because people are buying them, which is great. But but the way they can do smaller and larger tips is they have a large set of cables, like the connector fits on larger needles, size 9 and up. And they have small ones that go from a 2 to an 8. And sometimes they go smaller, but smaller than a 2, you need mini cables. And we don't regularly carry those in stock. We can order them for you if you need them. So, and we have connectors that can take large tips and fit them on smaller cables if you like the thinner cables.
It doesn't work the other way.
There's no way to make a smaller housing fit into the larger one. So be careful when you order that you're ordering the right large or small. Like I think on the red cable listing, it has you pick large or small and then you pick your length. And the other thing, and so that we're going to set this one up the same way online. The other thing about what was I gonna say? I just lost my train. The other thing. That's what I was gonna say. The other thing about these cables, some companies will be like, hey, here is the size it will make with the tips attached. And some of them say, here's the size of just the cable. So ChiaoGoo lists the size of the cable. Like this is 8 inches. And that one that Liz has is 50 inches. And you might be like, what? But the sizes that fixed needles usually come in is like 16, blah, 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 up to 60. These are the size of the cable itself. You have to add on what the tips are to get what length if you're looking for a certain pattern. You
have 4-inch tips, add 8 inches.
That throws everything kind of off. Like this one's designed for 4-inch tips to go on an 8-inch cable, and 2 4-inches and an 8-inch. There's math. There's 16 inches. The rest of them are designed that if you put the 5-inch tips on them, and 2 5-inch tips is 10 inches. So add 10 inches to any length for what traditional length you're going to get with the cable. Not confusing at all.
No.
So like a 50-inch cord with 2 5-inch tips equals a 60-inch total, tip to tip.
Just a special note, because we have had people, we try and explain this every time. You cannot put 5-inch tips on an 8-inch cable and make it work.
It's really challenging and awkward, and you're probably going to be like, why is this product so crappy? It's not the product. It's because these aren't designed to have 5-inch tips on them and be able to bend and touch and work well. And that might create kinks because you're trying to force too long tips. Like if you look at 16-inch fixed needles, and we have people who come in too who want 16-inch fixed needles, but they want longer tips, and trying to explain to them that that doesn't function is challenging.
Yeah.
So it just, it you know, it doesn't.
We've
work.
tried.
We've tried. I have a sample somewhere, you know, which is why my inventory might be off. Trying to show people that. And so I'm going to get these up today. And if you'd like to try them, we are retailing them. It looks like it depends on the length and the size. Like the smaller ones, this 8-inch, I want to say the 8-inch ones are one price, and then all the rest of them are the other price. The 8-inch ones are $11.25 for the cord.
The long ones are $12.50.
I want to say all the rest of them, if I remember from pricing them, all the rest of them are $12.50 for the cord, but you can save 15%. So they are more expensive than the red cords, but that's because there's more gadgetry to them. And I always tell people that the swivel tips are like what you'll find on the ChiaoGoo patinas, which are the wood ones, but the ChiaoGoo patinas have the plastic cables, and it's part of like to combat the memory. So they're trying to merge them in this product. And you can always get these cables and patina tips. We only have patinas in a few different tip sizes. We can order them for you. If you like wood tips, but you want this magic, we can order the tips for you. But also know that buying tips and buying cables is going to end up being more expensive than just buying the fixed needle. It's not like they took the fixed needle and just divided by 3 or divided by 2. It's going to end up being more expensive. So it depends on what you're interested in investing in. And
the other thing to remember, ChiaoGoo only works with ChiaoGoo.
Yes. It's very proprietary. The male-female combinations, like the threads in ChiaoGoo, are on the tips, and the hole the threads go into is on the cable. And most of the other interchangeable sets that we know of or carry, and we don't carry Knit Picks, but Knit Picks, Knitter's Pride, which we don't really carry either, and Likey, all 3 of those systems are the reverse. They have the threads on the cable and the hole the threads go into on the tip. So those 3, like we sell Likey products, and Knitter's Pride and Knit Picks can be used with those. They will all interchangeably work. ChiaoGoo works with ChiaoGoo. And that's part of what makes them really good sellers is they only work with themselves. But
they're memory free,
kind of
so
awesome.
They're kind of my favorite.
They're our favorite. Yeah. So, and Addies have a whole nother system that only works with Addies. So, and we don't carry as many of those anymore. We're transitioning mostly to this. So anyway, we have to go open the shop. Thank you for joining us today for a very technical VSC. Apparently I still need to drink more of my coffee. I will get those up online. I'm working on kits for the brioche knit along. I'm going to try to get those up in the next day or so. So we'll talk more about that tomorrow. But the things that the code product of the week will work on: swivel cords from ChiaoGoo, the silver swivel cords, and Queensland Perth. Hope you all have a very good day. We're gonna what?
Tomorrow.
Should we give people a heads up?
We could give people.
I haven't made a code yet.
Well, it's okay. They'll have to wait for the code.
Okay. Tomorrow is the anniversary of our very first day in business. We were open for a whopping 3 hours on a Friday evening 5 years ago. So because you're our loyal viewers, you get a heads up. There will be a flash sale tomorrow for 25% off all day. And I will generate the code and put it up tonight, Wednesday night. It will be working all day Thursday, July 28th. For 25% off everything we carry in the online shop or at the shop.
Look to social media for that code.
Because we'll announce it tomorrow, but by the time we post tomorrow's video, half the day is gone. And it's only on what we have in stock. It's not on pre-orders of anything. It's just what we have in stock. But we want to celebrate with y'all 5 years in business. Holy crap. And honestly, we couldn't have done it without a lot of y'all in the audience, either supporting us by buying yarn, or by supporting us on Patreon, or donations to the shop, or all that kind of stuff.
Liking our videos, subscribing to our videos.
Even the non-monetary stuff helps us because it helps us reach a wider audience. Yep. I mean, money helps, right? Pays the bills and stuff. But the non-monetary ways that you've supported us have, in the end, brought more revenue into us. So thank you so much. Anything you can do to show your support, to share with a friend, to, encourage us and the wider world to see us. Thank you so much. We hope we have brought some joy to your lives and all that. I'll stop. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye. Bye. Oh,
watch out.
There's a shawl here.